Hi everyone, welcome to Learn with me. In this session, I am going to discuss a concept like exceptions in Python. Python exception handling errors that occur during execution of program. Exception handling allows to respond to the error instead of crashing the running program. It enables you to catch and manage errors, making your code more robust and user friendly. Let us handle a simple exception in Python. Exception handling helps in preventing crashes due to errors, and here's a basic example demonstrate how to catch an exception and handle it gracefully. A simple exception handling example. Let me take as an integer uh, n equals to 10, and here I used try. Try is used when uh, we have a doubt that some error will be found here, so that in that case we will use try block, and except block is used when you know that what kind of error that we face here. And here I taken like n divided by 10, this will rise and zero division error. So I have a doubt that it will rise and zero division error, so I printed it can't be divided by zero. Then it will be give output like it can't be divided by zero. uh, Let me talk about in detail and difference between exception and error. Then what is error? Errors are serious issues that a program shouldn't try to handle, but when it comes to exception uh, we can handle them. And errors, these are usually problems in the code's logic or configuration and needs to be fixed by the programmer. Example includes syntax error and memory errors. As we see, for example, uh, when it is comes to the error, we will find errors like syntax error. Syntax error is nothing but like if we didn't put the colon after if block, or else if condition, sorry, or else we if we didn't put colon after else, these all comes into the syntax error, or else logical error. In these cases we will find error. And when it comes to exception, that can be handled by the program, and they occur due to situations like invalid input, missing files, or networking issues. As here also I given example syntax errors, or else anything. It may be colon, or it may be parentheses, it may be uh, strings, and missing here here closing parenthesis. And zero division error comes under exception. I think it is clear. And next, syntax and usage. Exception handling in Python is done using the try, except, else, and finally blocks. I already said try is nothing but might tries an exception, except some exception. And when it is comes to exception block, code to handle the exception that we already found the error, and here we will handle that error. That is purpose of the except block. And when it comes to the else block, code to run if no exception occurs. If there is no exceptions in the except block, so that it can't. If there is no exception, then there is nothing to handle, right? So in that case, it comes to the else block, and what is the print statements or else anything that in the else block it will be printed out. And final block, code to run regardless of whether an exception occurs. Final block is always executed instead. Uh, it will be already executed if it is a case of exceptions arise, or else not. It doesn't care of anything, and it will automatically prints. That is the concept of finally block. And next, here I already given that concept in detail, and here the concept that next try block. Here we given some example like if I given like try block, in that I will given n equals to 0, that result res is equals to 100 divided by, so that here uh, we expect some error, so that I given in the try block. And we know that that is a error called zero division error, so I given it in the except block, so you can't divide it by the zero. And next, I also given that we can also give multiple except blocks. It will be explained in later. And here I we also expect the value error, that is enter valid number. And next else block, if it is not there is no exception in this, it will be executed. Print result is res. And finally, execution complete. So as we know that finally block is always executed whether it is given or whether it is not, whether it is exception is find or not, it will be always executed. Here we find an error that is you can't divide it by 0, and here we get execution complete. And next, catching multiple exceptions. That I said, we can catch multiple exceptions in a single block if we need to handle them in the same way, or we can separate them if different types of exceptions require different handling. And if let us take an example here, I taken like a list with a string 10, 20, 30, mixed list of integers and strings, right? And next here try block total int of a indexing 0 and int of a indexing 1. 20 can't be converted into int right here. Here accept value error type error as E, and accept index error print index out of range. So output error invalid literal for int with the base 10 20. Isn't it? How can we integer can be converted into this? So here we find an type error, right? So we can also uh, expect multiple exceptions, and we can also include them in our code. And next, common exceptions in Python. Python has many built-in exceptions, each representing a specific error conditions, and some common ones include base exception, the base class for all built-in exceptions, exception, the base class for all non-existing exceptions, arithmetic error, base class for all errors related to arithmetic operation, zero division error, raised when division or modulo operation is performed with zero as divisor, overflow error, raised when numerical operation exceeds maximum limit of data type, and floating point error raised when floating point operation fails, assertion error raised when an asset statement fails, and attribute error raised when an attribute reference to assignment fails, and index error raised when sequence script is out of range, and key error raised when dictionary key is not found, and memory error raised when operation runs out of memory, and name error raised when a local or global name is not found. OS error raised when system related to operation like file input output fails. Type error raised when operation or function is applied to object of inappropriate type. And value error raised when function receives an argument of right type but inappropriate value. And import error raised when an import statement has issues. Module not found error raised when module can't be found. And let us see what is an advantages of the exception handling. Improved programming reliability. By handling exceptions properly, you can prevent your program from crashing or producing incorrect results due to unexpected errors or input. Simplified error handling. Exceptions handling allows you to separate error handling code from the main program logic, make it easier to read and maintain your code. Clear code. With exception handling, you can avoid using complex conditional statements to check for errors, leading to cleaner, and more readable code, and easier debugging. When an exception is raised, the Python interpreter prints a traceback that shows the exact location where the exception occurred, make it easier to debug your code. And let us comes to disadvantages of the exception handling. Performance overhead. Exception handling can be slower than using conditional statement to check for errors, as an interpreter has to perform additional work to catch and handle the exception. Increased code complexity. Exception handling can make your code more complex, especially if you have to handle multiple types of exceptions or implement complex error handling logic. And one more is possible security risks. Improperly handled exceptions can potentially reveal sensitive information or create security vulnerable abilities in your code. So it's important to handle exceptions carefully and avoid exposing too much information about your program. And thank you. And if you have any doubts or queries, let comment in the comment section. And for more videos, please do subscribe and like, share to the learn with me. Thank you for watching.